Baby, you don't wanna live for. Mommy's by your side till the end and through whatever. Yeah, this is our journey together. You're special cause you're different. Never let them tell you different. Yeah, you can rely on my love for forever. You and I against the world, against the world, yeah, against the whole world.
Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're gonna talk about meltdowns and tantrums. They're very different. I don't want you guys to think that it's the same thing, because when it comes to autism, they're completely different. It's really hard to tell, but you could, once you get used to it, you can tell if he's having a tantrum or if he's having a meltdown. So some of the things to look into tantrums is tantrums are controlled, they're purposeful, they're frustrated, they're aware and communicative, and they're done on purpose. Hi, future Natalie talking here. So let me stop right there. So like I said, tantrum is purposeful. So let's say they're trying to get their way on something. It's mostly for the show. They're throwing a fit because they want something and they're trying to accomplish something. Most likely and most times a tantrum, they won't hurt themselves and they won't hurt others. See it as like your child is trying to manipulate you to get what they want. In a meltdown, it's a lot different because it's like emotional, overwhelmed, unaware, unresponsive, and dysregulated. Okay, I'm back. So a meltdown, it's pretty much a person has no control over their actions. They're only responding to what's going on, and most likely they're gonna either hurt you or hurt themselves. They could be reacting to a place that has way too much noise. They could be reacting to a tag that's on their shirt that you forgot to take off. They could be reacting to the change of a schedule. They're used to you having structure. A lot of kids with autism is all about structure, and once you throw them off, you could have a meltdown. It could be so many reasons to be having a meltdown, and it's about you trying to figure it out. Once you figure it out, another thing is you have to understand. You have to understand that it might be a little dumb thing to you, but it could mean so much to them. I do want to add that in a meltdown, you don't always self-harm and you don't always hit others. So it can be where you're having a meltdown and you're not being violent, but that's where it can get a little tricky to a meltdown and a tantrum. And that's how a lot of people, when you're outside in public, they could judge and be like, oh, that kid is having a complete tantrum, and when in reality they're having a meltdown over sensitivity issues or anything like that. Now I learned that well, with ABA, if you guys don't have ABA and your child is having like a lot of behaviors, one thing that I do recommend is for you to get ABA services. A lot of people is against it because they say like, see, this is like a whole other video, but let me just pretty much do the rundown. ABA is behavioral therapy, okay? But ABA has changed dramatically from what it used to be. So back then they said that a lot of kids that were getting ABA therapy, they were getting traumatized, or they called some type of like a mental like damage. Like they were pretty much getting traumatized for what they were doing in ABA. Now ABA is a lot different. Now it's all play-based. The company that Jaden's in, you would think they were just playing around, but in reality they're working on behaviors, you know? So you have to find a company that's fit for your child, and that is gonna be fun. And you know, yeah, there's gonna be some times where like he's having a meltdown or he doesn't want to do a certain thing and whatnot, but it's all part of the learning process, you know? So back then ABA was a lot different than now. And you still have to look for a good company. Same with speech. I mean, I've met someone that went to speech therapy and they would say ball, say ball, say ball. Only had one ball and didn't give it to him until he would say ball. And that to me was traumatizing, as opposed to the speech therapy that Jaden has right now is a bunch of toys everywhere. It's play-based and it's like, okay, let's say balloon, let's say ball. And with give it to him, even if he didn't say it, you know, but at least he was trying. So you just gotta find the right company for your child, and definitely ask questions and be like, hey, is this play-based? Make sure that that's the right fit for your child. I don't think a child that you just show a ball to and tell him say ball and you don't give it to him towards the end of the day, or even to play with it, I don't think that's gonna be a good fit for any child. Same with ABA. So there's some ABA companies that are really good, and there's some ABA companies that are not that great, you know. So you would have to find the right fit for your child and make sure that they're play-based, because that's, you want to make things fun. Once you make it fun, they'll learn, you know. So back to the meltdowns. They're the ones that taught me a lot about Jaden, and they're the ones that told me, like, you're gonna have to try to figure out what works for him. Why are these meltdowns happening? What is it? What's going on? So with that being said, one of the first things that I was dealing with was he was being very aggressive. Now, of course, if I tell you, you could only say one word throughout the whole entire day and you're trying to communicate with me, you're gonna be aggressive too. It's hard. It's really hard. It's frustrating, and you're gonna be pissed as hell, and you might even hit me because it's like, Natalie, I'm trying to tell you this, but I can only tell you one word. So you can understand their frustration. So one of the things that we ended up doing was signing more often, you know, like stuff like that, because that helped him communicate with me a little bit more. So if definitely your child's nonverbal or something like that, you could use a tablet, or you could use sign language. Start teaching him sign language, especially if he's like 2 years old, 3 years old. Sign language is amazing. Because the meltdowns will diminish, because now he's able to communicate with you. Another thing that we started to do is it's called decompressions. So like deep tissue compressions and stuff. So basically when Jaden was having a meltdown, I would grab him, I'll hold him, and then start massaging him. I will massage him to calm down. Now, you guys all know not everything works for every child, of course. So when I was doing that to Jaden, oh, he flipped, you guys. It was far worse. He's the type that, like, why are you massaging me? I have no idea. Like, I will massage him, try to calm him down. It was far worse. So once again, it might work for your child, but it did not work for Jaden. So what worked for Jaden was removing him from the situation. So let's say Jaden comes and pulls Ailani's hair. Okay, I would grab Ailani's hair and remove her from the situation and put him elsewhere. So let's say he's attacking Ailani too much. I would grab her, put her in the room, had him in the living room, and I absolutely leave him alone. He might be on the floor kicking, screaming, yelling, saying all this bunch of stuff, like, not saying, but doing all this bunch of stuff that's like he's pissed off. I just let him run through it. Okay, you're upset, I'm just gonna leave you alone. I don't touch him. I don't make eye contact with him. I ignore him, because Jaden's the type that he loves attention seeking, and he does things for attention. So if he's about to hit Ailani, he's looking at me to see like the approval, or like, oh, is she really looking at me? Because guess what, I'm gonna do this so I could get her attention, right? So I leave him alone. And in the beginning, it's gonna be a little bit hard, because there was at times where Jaden will go up the couch and will try to jump or do things or bang his head on the floor. So when that stuff happens, if he's about to, if you know he's doing a lot of climbing on furniture, you're gonna have to be right there. Before he gets to the couch, you put your body in front of it so he blocks it. You don't look at him. You don't make eye contact with him. You don't tell him, no, don't do that, that's not safe, or Jaden, please stop, or no, that's not okay, or please sit, or you don't say anything. You block your body from the furniture that he's about to climb, and he won't climb it. He'll try, but you put him in the center of the room, of whatever, wherever you are, the kitchen, the living room, the I don't know, wherever you guys are at and it's happening. Block your body from everywhere before he gets it. And you're gonna find yourself that he's gonna be at the center of the room having a big old meltdown, pissed off. If he tries banging his head, just go put your hand underneath his head so he's banging on your hand, and you just ignore him. Don't make eye contact. Of course, you make sure that before you try to help with his behavior, you make sure that he's safe. So obviously you're just not gonna leave him in the middle of the room and just banging his head. No, you're not gonna do that. That's not okay. So you're gonna put your hand underneath his head. He might bang it, just don't try not to make eye contact with him, because he's doing it for attention. If he's just like Jenin, he's doing it for attention. I do want to add that the reason why we're not supposed to give attention to the bad behavior is because the bad behavior will keep reoccurring. Now, if you give attention to him banging his head, he knows automatically you're going to look at him when he bangs his head, so he's going to continue to do it. Anytime he's having a meltdown, he's going to know, like, well, let me bang my head because my mom's going to give me my attention, and that's what I want. I want her attention, so I'm going to continue to bang my head. Now, I will add this, that Jaden no longer does that, no longer bangs his head on the floor, thankfully. And I feel like this technique really did help. It could be sensory overload. There might be too many people in the house. Now, I want to say 4th of July, this did happen. Jaden had a meltdown at one of our cousins' house over a banana being ripe. He wanted a banana, and he likes bananas almost like greenish, yellowish, never brown. So he had a complete meltdown, and there was a lot of people, so he threw himself on the floor. So I grabbed him and I took him to a different room where there's absolutely nobody else, and I sit him down and I let him calm down. Now obviously people come and they try to help and like, is he okay? That to me is, I understand they're trying to help, but at the same time it's hard. It's hard because now you're giving him attention for his bad behavior when I'm trying to remove him from the situation. It's fine. People will sooner or later understand that, like, sometimes you just gotta let them be, you know? And I've been the type of person that Jenny could hit me right now and I would just ignore him. Sometimes it is hard because I've had him bite me, and I've had him like, OMG, like you got an instant reaction, like, oh, that hurt. Like, even if you say that, like, you're still giving him attention for his bad behavior. So technically you just have to suck it up, and it sucks and it's hard, and it's sometimes like, OMG, am I really going through this? But once you start figuring out the little things, then you understand, okay, well, I'm gonna avoid this tantrum, you know, like vacuuming. This meltdown, like vacuuming. If you know that he's very sensitive to the ears, vacuum when he's at school, vacuum when he's asleep, vacuum in the morning before he wakes up, vacuum when he's not in the room, or, you know, you will soon find out that if it's bugging him, you know, you pick and choose your battles, and you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna make my life easier with me not vacuuming right now because it's gonna flip him off, you know? Now that I know that he doesn't like bananas brown, and he said bananas and then they gave it to him, now that I know, it's like, okay, well, if I see a brown banana, I'm gonna hide it and just not give it to him, because he's not gonna understand that. He thinks that, like, okay, well, there'll be more bananas wherever it's there, or there might be a green banana, and he's just really picky about that. Another thing that he would have a meltdown for is, like, if I was to open the yogurt and I would lick the lid part, you know, where it has like the yogurt part of the lid. Oh, he would flip because he thinks you're eating it. So now I know not to do that. Little things like that. I mean, when he says fork and I give him a spoon, or when I know he doesn't really use a fork and he uses a spoon and I give him a fork, some days he will be okay with it, and some days if I catch him in a wrong day, like, he's gonna throw a fit about it, you know? So you're gonna soon find out, like, what works for your child, what triggers him, what's gonna set him off, and you try to avoid those things. And that will make your life a lot easier. Don't view the world how you want him to view it. you gotta see, as a mother, like we do all this bunch of expectations about how our child should be in society. We mess up sometimes. Sometimes we're like, we put a lot of expectations on our kids, and we're like, we want our child to fit into society, or we want them to be and do things how other people do it. And when you have expectations like that, you're gonna put yourself in a really dark place. So don't do that. Once you start viewing, and I say it all the time, and you could probably even see, I probably even said it already in one of my videos, once you start viewing the world the way they view it, life will get easier. I know my child, this is gonna trigger my child, let me avoid this from happening, because guess what, I'm gonna make sure that, like, today's gonna be a smooth day, you know. I'm gonna make sure that he goes to sleep at 7:30 and wakes up the time that he's supposed to wake up, so we could have a really damn good day. Stuff like that. Triggers. Always remember that when a meltdown happens, it's because of something. So if, let's say, a meltdown just happened at the grocery store, think about, like, what happened a few minutes before the meltdown. What was happening? What was he doing? Did something change? Kids are all about routine. So did we do something different this time? Did we go through a street we normally don't go through? You know, stuff like that. Because Jaden, oh, he's the type that, like, I would drive and he knows exactly where we're going. Like right now we're in therapy. Oh, well, he's in therapy, and he knew Giovanna, we're gonna go see Giovanna, so that's his therapist. So I knew exactly, like, okay. But had I turned a different way, he's gonna be like, where the heck are you taking me, Mom? Like, today's Giovanna, you know? And he could have a meltdown over it. So just stuff like that. Once you get used to it, it does get easier and it does get better. Don't give up, don't get frustrated. If you need to go in the restroom and just cry it out, beyond means, cry it out. But the minute you walk out that restroom, girl, you better wipe those tears, because you come back to reality and you can't be crying all day now, you know? But it's okay to cry. It's fine. It's hard. God knows I've cried so many times in the restroom and I'm like, oh my God, I can't take it. Or I have, like, I've got a busted lip before. He kicked me in my face. And, you know, it sucks and it hurts. And, you know, you have to go through those things. And it's just gonna make you a lot more stronger as a mother. Don't give up. Get ABA. ABA helped me a lot, you guys. You guys have no idea. I'd probably lose my shit if I didn't have ABA. So get yourself some ABA therapist. Get you a BCBA, which is the supervisor, a great one, and she will walk you through it. But yes, that was today's video, meltdowns and tantrums. How I deal with tantrums is a lot different how I deal with meltdowns. I just told you how I dealt with meltdowns. As far as tantrum goes, I pretty much parent the same way I parent Ailani when it comes to tantrum. You guys deal with tantrums is whatever works best for your child. That's all I'm gonna tell you. But meltdowns is something to go on a different approach about. And yes, I just look ridiculous all the time when I'm in the car and people are looking at me. It's so embarrassing when people are passing by and they're looking at me and I'm like talking to a camera, you know. And especially when people I know from therapy, and I'm like, that's I was like, hold on, you guys. But I'm doing this for you guys. I might look ridiculous half the time, but make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, join our journey, because you guys are not alone. And thank you guys for the comments. I appreciate it a lot, because it makes me feel like I'm doing something good. I'm sharing my experiences, what's been going on, and believe it or not, I'm really good. I'm like an open book. I'll tell you about everything. What you guys like about this video, what other videos you guys want us to do. I've got a lot of DMs, and thank you guys for reaching out and letting me know that such and such video has been helping. The IHSS video has been helping a lot. I will be doing another IHSS video where I would tell you guys things that you guys probably don't even know. But I'll leave that for a different day. If you guys have any trouble with your guys' timesheets, or how to do them, how to do the paper timesheets or the electronic timesheets. I did run into a person on YouTube. She contacted me and her name is Selena, and she has a really good video on how to explain how you guys do the timesheet process. I will link her YouTube channel down below so you guys can go ahead and check it out. I won't go into timesheets yet because it's really hard to explain, but she does a really good job explaining it. So if you guys have any trouble with that, make sure you contact her. Make sure you watch the video, and she really breaks it down to the T. Okay, so thank you for watching. Bye.
Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. This is our
This is our
Wait, take two.
This our journey.